topic or tough love that I want to share with all of you today. So, this is a big one. I mean, they all are. They all are. But first of all, I want to say thank you so much for everyone who joins me every week and who watches the replays. This has been really fun being able to tune in and bring these little quick bite-sized segments to you every week. So I hope that you're loving them. And don't forget to drop a comment below. I mean, the point of these Tough Love Tuesday topics is to start a conversation here and to build this topic and this conversation here inside our community. So please drop a comment below. Let me know what's resonating with you or not from these Tough Love Tuesday topics. Okay, so today, as you probably tell from the topic or the title of this video, we're talking about why you're not a sugar addict. So here's the thing, and this sounds really weird coming from me, of all people, because all I do is talk about sugar addiction and our dependency on sugar and all the things sugar. But you are not a sugar addict. And this is the tough love that I want to give to you today because for a handful of reasons. And this is really important for you to listen to because the way we describe ourselves means everything. And, I see time and time again, especially people coming off of, the incredible Quit Sugar Summit that we had a couple of weeks ago, really starting to resonate and identify as being a sugar addict. Now, there is a huge difference between identifying yourself as a sugar addict and honoring and acknowledging that you have, sugar addiction tendencies or, an unhealthy relationship with sugar. Can you see the difference? Identifying as who you are as a human being, as a sugar addict, versus acknowledging that there's some patterns and behaviors showing up in your life that may not be the healthiest. So, huge difference. And I want to have this conversation with all of you about identity today because this is something that's been coming up for me a lot in my work and the really deep work that I do with my clients is this identity piece. And I see so many people, maybe you watching this right now, identifying themselves so strictly as, yep, I'm a sugar addict, and kind of taking that on and taking that label and that identity on as just who they are. And when we do this, we dramatically lower our chances of ever getting out of that place. So when we identify ourselves as an overweight person, someone with diabetes, someone who's sugar addict, when we identify and at a subconscious level believe wholeheartedly that's just who we are, it becomes very, 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 very difficult to shift out of that. Maybe you've seen people go through identity crises in the past, but when we have this view of ourselves and who we think we are, whether it's fact or not, we get stuck and rooted in that. And we're less likely to actually enable change, right? And we've all heard the stories by now, with, say, a cancer patient, one who accepts and identifies with, yeah, I'm a sick cancer patient. And the other who says, no, cancer is just something that's here right now. It's not who I am, but it's just something that's in my reality right now and I can shift out of it. And the thought patterns and the mindset piece that goes with not attaching to these toxic identities is one of the most powerful, most important things that we can do when we want to instill change. So if you're sitting there right now thinking, I'm a sugar addict, I want to encourage you to change your narrative. Do not, whatever you do not attach your whole being, yourself at a core level with being a sugar addict. Absolutely, by all means, acknowledge that there's a dependency or there's an addictive pattern or there's behavior going on right now for you around sugar, around food. Maybe right now in this period of life, I'm using food for emotional reasons, or I'm addicted to sugar on a physical, chemical level right now. And that's okay. But using language that supports the fact that you can change and it's not never going to change. Does that make sense? I really want to hit this home because when we use language that says, I am this thing, it really deeply roots in our subconscious of we're never going to shift out of that. That's just who we are, right? And this is one of the biggest pieces that holds us back from actually changing. in our lives, whether it's, not wanting to be that cancer patient anymore, or, losing the weight. When we identify so wholly with how we look, or the shape of our body, right? And we say, this is just who I am, our subconscious will never support us in making that change. So I want to encourage all of you right now to welcome in the possibility of change in the language that you use with yourself. Okay, so using language like, right now I'm noticing sugar addiction tendencies, or right now I'm noticing a dependency on sugar, but I can change it. There is that possibility, because it's not who you are. And this is a much deeper conversation about identity, and something that I dive into deep with my clients and the programs that I host, because identity is one of the most tricky pieces when it comes to like that foundational work around sugar and around our patterns and relationship with food in general. When we so wholeheartedly identify with being a certain way, it makes it difficult to change. So do not identify yourself, in those words as a sugar addict. And labeling ourselves can really put us in this box that actually on a subconscious level prevents us from ever shifting out of it. So my goal obviously is to inspire and to motivate and to empower you to shift out of these old belief systems, these old identities, and shift into who you truly are. And at your core, you're not your body, you're not the way that you look, you're not your habits and patterns or where you live in the world or what you do for work. At your core, you are much deeper than that. And I really encourage you to start reflecting on that, maybe get your journal out and go through kind of what's resonating for you from this conversation, this topic. So I would love to hear from all of you below in the comments. Is this something that you catch yourself doing, is labeling yourself as a sugar addict? I did for years. I would say I'm a recovering sugar addict, which is maybe like one step better, but not really, because it still put me in this box, and it still caused me to identify with that instead of the possibility that now I have this freedom and sugar doesn't have control over me anymore. And it wasn't until I let go of that box and those labels and that identity that I'd slapped on myself that things started to shift. So I encourage you to really pay very close attention to the language that you're using, let alone the language that you're using about yourself in other areas as well. And just know the power of our words, whether we're saying them out loud or in our mind, are incredible. I mean, you can see study after study and research after research of people, changing the thought patterns and the language that they're using, and it actually shifts their life in such a dramatic way. So I want that for you. Okay, so you're not a sugar addict. That's the tough love I wanted to share with you today. Good news. I guess it's not tough love, it's good news love, because you don't have to identify with that. And I want to invite you to open up to the possibilities that you can shift out of that, and using your language to do that. So there you have it. That's what I wanted to pop in and share with all of you today. And I'm so grateful for those who tuned in live. Don't forget to drop a comment below. Let me know if this resonates with you. Is this something that you catch yourself doing, is really resonating with, I am a sugar addict. And maybe even an invitation for you right now to reflect on all the other I am statements in your life. Really getting like what other I ams are coming up for you that may not really be supportive, or may not be what you actually want to be in the long run, and acknowledging that identity piece is where we can really get stuck, right? A lot of people, I am, for example, right? If you get stuck in like, I am a runner, right? I am a runner. We really identify with our activities, right? I am a runner. And maybe one day you break your leg, right? And you can no longer be a runner. And there becomes this huge identity crisis, because we've attached our whole being and our worth and who we are to running. Right? This is just a simplified example, but we do this left, right, and center. And we really do, the freedom and the joy comes from really tapping in on a deeper level to who we really are outside of our activities and our labels and our, status in our family, our job title, right? Because then we can more fluidly flow through life. And I've experienced this, and it's been one of the biggest gifts for myself, and knowing who I am at a deep level. If my job changes, my living circumstances change, my income changes, and when my body changes as I age, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose that part that I know, my center core. I know who I am. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're not a sugar addict. I'm going to wrap this up here, and can't wait to hear from you all below. And I will see you again, same time, same place next week.